Hello. I know I ain't recorded one of these in a little minute, but we back. Welcome to the Four Verticals podcast. Yeah, man, I ain't recorded one of these in a minute. Although I haven't recorded one of these, I have given you guys some good content. So I hope the content that I gave you filled the void for the podcast that's been gone for about 2 weeks now. Didn't get a chance to talk about the championship games when they happened. Not going to talk about them in this podcast because the Super Bowl was just Sunday. So yeah, this episode is going to be more like a recap episode covering some things that we missed. There were a few big not pay-per-views. There were a few big sporting events that happened over the weekend, namely the Super Bowl. There was also UFC 284. Some more things. The NFL Honors Awards winners were announced. I believe they were announced Friday because they usually have that before the Super Bowl, as well as the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2023 announced. And although this happened sometime last week, LeBron also became the leading scorer of all time in the NBA. So that's the stuff we're going to cover, and I hope you guys enjoy the episode. Let's start off with what we all care about. Let's talk about the Super Bowl. Going into the Super Bowl, my pick was the Philadelphia Eagles. I thought that they, top to bottom, were the superior team. I did think that it was going to be more one-sided. Didn't expect a super heavy back and forth like what we got. I'm very happy that we got a super heavy back and forth because it made for a very entertaining game. But that's neither here nor there. First thing I want to talk about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts played his ass off. There was a lot of doubts between, some people. Is Jalen Hurts really a premier elite quarterback talent in the NFL? I think he proved everybody wrong with the Super Bowl performance. He did have that unfortunate fumble six. That was, I believe it was unforced. He just literally dropped the ball and it bounced off his shoe. But after that, I don't think he turned the ball over. Besides that, he had the one fumble. I think that was the only turnover in the entire game was that fumble, that Jalen Hurts fumble, which is unfortunate because it directly led to 6 points. But Jalen Hurts, man, he played one hell of a game. So I just wanted to shout out him. Other people I want to shout out. I want to shout out Devontae Smith as well as AJ Brown. I was saying during the middle of the season, of the regular season, of course, that, when Devontae Smith gets more involved in the Eagles offense, that it's going to completely change like how their offense is running, because it was already running efficient before with AJ Brown, receiving the amount of targets he did. And it was like Devontae Smith, he's still here and he's not receiving that same love. They got him involved more towards the end of the season, and during the playoffs he was also involved. He had, I think, 6 catches for 100 yards. 6 catches for 100 yards, and I think AJ Brown in the Super Bowl had 7 catches for 93 and a touchdown. So shout out to those boys in Philly, man. They really impressed me. I was really happy with how they played. It was just a really clean football game. Aside from the unfortunate fumble, it was a really clean football game. Very high scoring, 70 plus points. You love to see stuff like that in the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's all I got for Philly, because unfortunately they didn't win the Super Bowl. The Chiefs are your 2023 Super Bowl champions. Patrick Mahomes received his second Super Bowl MVP. Wow. I will say, going into halftime, they were down 10 points, but it was like one of those 10-point leads that was really imaginary, because if you look at the time of possession in the first half and what transpired in the first half, Eagles absolutely dominated the time of possession. And I didn't really expect the Chiefs offense to just stall out during the second half. I definitely expected them to put up a fight, and put up a fight they did. Wow. Let me take a sip of this tea real quick. I'm so excited. Once again, as usual, I apologize if you hear anything in the background. Can't do anything about that. But a few players I wanted to talk about on the Chiefs end. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes. What can't this guy do? Like, unfortunately, he's clearing away the best quarterback in the NFL. He's the best player in the NFL. It's not particularly close. I think he has the best connection in the NFL right now to Travis Kelce, who we'll talk about as well. But man, it's just not a lot of people who can go and do what he did last Sunday. Talk about coming into the game wasn't 100%. And Jalen Hurts also was not 100%. I would like to credit him as well. But you talk about not being 100%. You got a bum ankle. And one of your premier traits is that you improvise a lot, and you're a great scrambler, and you can run, and you have legs, right? To go into halftime, he was limping going into halftime. And then he came out. I don't know what they did. They might have shot his ankle up with some horse tranquilizer or some shit. I don't know. But to come out and perform the way you performed on the biggest stage in the second half, us knowing that, you clearly aren't 100%. I don't know, man. That's legendary behavior. If I'm being completely honest, that's legendary behavior. That's future Hall of Fame behavior. His resume up until this point is absolutely insane. At the age of 27, he's a two-time NFL MVP, two-time Super Bowl champion, and two-time Super Bowl MVP. It's unparalleled. He's on another level, and nobody's on his level. Nobody's even close to his level. So shout out to Patrick Mahomes for getting it done. And listen, my favorite team is in the AFC. I'm a Ravens fan. It hurts me that Patrick Mahomes is as good as he is, and he's coming out of the AFC. But I like to be unbiased. I like to be as unbiased as possible. You got to give credit where credit is due. Shout out to Patrick Mahomes, man. He played one hell of a game. I think this is his first Super Bowl without any turnovers, which is crazy. Because prior to this, he was 1-1 in the Super Bowl. I think both games he had thrown picks. This game, he was absolutely flawless. So shout out to Patrick Mahomes specifically. He was seen after the game. He was rocking a WWE championship with the Chiefs side plates. I thought that was really cool. Because y'all know I'm a big WWE guy, but that was really cool. So shout out to Patrick Mahomes. Who else do I want to highlight on the Chiefs? Nick Bolton on the Chiefs defense was an absolute stud all game. I think he was the one that recovered. I believe he was the one that recovered the fumble for 6. There was also he laid out a really, really big hit on no. Excuse me. I'm thinking about Eagles defender. Nick Bolton was everywhere, man. Honestly, until that fourth quarter, if the Chiefs would have found a way to win without, Patrick Mahomes doing what he did, Nick Bolton probably would have been Super Bowl MVP, and it would have been earned because he was everywhere. He was tackling, he was covering, he was doing this shit. So I wanted to give a special shout out to Nick Bolton as well. You got to shout out some guys on the defensive end every now and then. And when you see a guy do what Nick Bolton did on Sunday, you have to shout him out as well. Who else do I want to shout out from the Super Bowl? Travis Kelce. I don't know. I don't really know what we expected from Travis Kelce at this point because he's always open. He's literally always open. Him and Patrick have such a unique and special connection, one that we don't see often. We don't see this type of connection often from quarterbacks and receivers, much less quarterbacks and tight ends. You know what I'm saying? So it's just great that Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce found, they found each other. As weird as it is to say, they are literally perfect for each other, and I'm sure that neither of them would have it any other way. What else did I want to talk? Oh, we can talk about the halftime performance. Rihanna did the halftime show. I enjoyed it. She's pregnant again, which is crazy. Shout out A$AP Rocky. The man wasted no time. Take a sip of this tea. But yeah, I enjoyed the halftime performance. I thought it was pretty damn good. Made me realize how many hits Rihanna just has and how many she didn't even perform. She didn't perform songs like S&M. What else did she not perform? She didn't perform much from her most recent album, Anti. But yeah, I enjoyed the halftime performance. I don't think they've announced who next year's halftime performance is, but next year's Super Bowl is in Vegas. I don't know, but next year's Super Bowl is in Vegas at Allegiant Stadium, so hopefully that halftime performance is as good as Rihanna's. And since we're speaking on things that aren't immediately sports, can we talk about this Tubi commercial? Now, I was at work when I was watching the Super Bowl, but the Super Bowl was still on the TV in the living room in the house that I work. And no one was near the remote, but that commercial definitely had me convinced that somebody was changing the channel. So good commercial from them. Please, no one ever copy this commercial again. That's not a 15 seconds I ever want to happen again. Please, because I would have been I was like legitimately mad for like 5 seconds. I was like, yo, we're watching the Super Bowl. Who's changing shit, bro? But that was a fantastic ad by Tubi. Besides that, the ads this year fucking sucked, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. There were like no good ads this year besides the Budweiser ad. I like those. The horse ad. I like those. But there were no notable ads besides the Tubi ad. And again, with the trying to get us to scan QR codes. No, Coinbase did it. They did it well. Why are you trying to copy off their shit? Please be original. I'm like, and then I think it was for a mobile game. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Is that all I want to talk about for the Super Bowl? Kadarius Toney. When the Giants traded Kadarius Toney to the Chiefs, I immediately knew that was just gonna be a problem, because you don't trade a receiver like Kadarius Toney, who's shown so much promise, to the Chiefs and don't think he's gonna flourish in that system. Shout out to Kadarius Toney. Had a big punt return. I think he returned it within the 5 to give the Chiefs their first lead of the game in the fourth quarter. Right. Also scored a touchdown. Had a really big game. Came back off injury, had a pretty impactful season for the Chiefs. So just, I'm happy for him. Who else am I happy for? I'm happy for Orlando Brown Jr., former Raven. It's unfortunate that we could not keep him as a Raven, but I am glad to see him flourish other places. So shout out to him as well for winning a Super Bowl championship ring. And I think that's it on the Super Bowl. We spent a good amount of time talking about the Super Bowl, and it's Wednesday now. Practically everyone's, giving their opinions on it. I think I'm probably one of the last people to still be making content based majority around the Super Bowl. I don't even want to say majority, because we're not even 15 minutes into the episode yet, and this is probably going to be a 30-minute podcast. Don't want this to run too long. So congratulations to everybody involved in the Super Bowl. You guys made it that far, and that's something to be proud of. To the Eagles, I certainly think that you can make it back, and if you make it back, anything can happen. But I would like to congratulate the Kansas City Chiefs for becoming the 2023 NFL Super Bowl champions. Congratulations. Keeping it with football, before the Super Bowl, the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2023 was announced. And I'm going to bring that up right now. Pro Football Hall of Fame 2023 class. I'm going to bring that up right now. So here are the members of the class of 2023 in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We have Rondé Barber, Don Coryell, Chuck Howley, Joe Klecko, Darrelle Revis, Ken Riley, Joe Thomas, Zach Thomas, and DeMarcus Ware. Congratulations to all 9 men for being excuse me. Congratulations to all 9 men for being selected into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Crazy. Some notable snubs were, I believe Andre Johnson. I know Devin Hester, which they'll both get in. First ballot was maybe a stretch for Devin Hester, but they'll both get in. Who else was notable snubs? I can't think of any notable snubs off the top of my head, but those are your 9 class of 2023 members for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Once again, congratulations to them. Now, to move on to the UFC 284 took place last Saturday. I'm gonna be totally honest. I only watched the interim featherweight fight and the main event. I didn't watch anything else from this pay-per-view. So, you're gonna get my opinions on that. You're gonna get opinions on that. So the co-main event for UFC 284 was for the interim featherweight championship. Yair Rodriguez won via submission against Josh Emmett with 4 minutes, 19 seconds left in the second round. I thought this was a pretty good fight. Yair Rodriguez showed that, he's championship material. Unfortunately, he's going to have to show that again against Alexander Volkanovski, who was the main event. Volkanovski went up a weight class to challenge Islam Makhachev for his lightweight title, and it went the distance. So yeah, here are my thoughts on that. The fight was about as even as you could call it. I genuinely do believe that this fight could have went either way. Although I did have Makhachev winning, because it's weird. I think that the fight was so close that in order for Volkanovski to take Makhachev's title, I just think he had to simply do more. There were really good back and forth rounds. Round 1, I think I had gave to Alexander Volkanovski. That could go either way. Round 2 was definitely on Islam Makhachev. Round 3, I went to Volkanovski, and then the rest of the rounds went to Makhachev. What really impressed me from Volkanovski was his takedown and ground defense. He did get taken down, and we expected that. But his defense was absolutely phenomenal for the most part during this fight. What also, surprised me not surprised me, but it, impressed me was Islam Makhachev's his stand-up game. We know, looking at Volkanovski, his hands are lethal, and his hands are some of the best pound for pound, in UFC. Islam Makhachev did a good job at his stand-up game, not allowing Alexander Volkanovski to, play to fight in his style. And because he did that, he came out with the unanimous decision victory. That takes a lot. That takes a lot of balls, because Makhachev, I believe he called out Volkanovski, or no, not called him out, but he said, "Hey, we can go to Australia. We can fight in front of your fans." And he did that, and he walked out the champion still. So great things on the horizon for Islam Makhachev. I can't wait to see him defend the title again. As far as Alexander Volkanovski, although he did not become a double champion, he now has to face Yair Rodriguez to unify both the interim and the undisputed, or I guess it's disputed now, featherweight championship. So can't wait to see that. Hopefully we see that soon. I don't have any other opinions on anything else in the pay-per-view, because like I said, I didn't watch it. And I'm just being completely honest. I'm being completely honest. Wow, I didn't have much on. Damn, this is gonna be a short podcast episode. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't have much on my notes app for this episode, so I quite literally don't have anything else. Oh, I will say one thing. This isn't traditional sports. This is esports. So if you're not a fan, you're not going to understand what I'm talking about. But I would like to give a huge congratulations to TSM for winning the ALGS Split 1 I want to say season 3 championships. Hold on. I have to look at it now. TSM Apex. Give me a second. I wasn't ready. I thought I had this pulled up. Unfortunately, I did not. Excuse me. I would like to extend a congratulations to TSM for winning the 2023 ALGS Split 1 playoffs. If you don't know what this is Apex Legends. It's a competitive Apex Legends. Is an esport that I follow pretty religiously, I would say. TSM is my favorite team, and I just had to shout them out because, you know, this. If you guys did not know, TSM is a dynasty, the only Apex dynasty. I just got a new video idea. I might go over the history of TSM's. Whatever. This is not the time for this. I would like to extend a congratulations to TSM. Shout out to Reps. Shout out to Verholst. Shout out to Jordan. I just said shout out to Reps twice. Shout out to Hal. Very, very, very excited that I got to witness my guys win another championship. Hopefully this is more to come. This is the first of more to come because, you know, hey, it's TSM, baby. It's TSM. So just wanted to extend my congratulations to them. And now I really got nothing. So that's the end of this episode of the podcast. I want to have another episode out this weekend. I guess this can just be a minisode just covering the Super Bowl and stuff like that. Oh, LeBron, he's the all-time leading scorer now. This is kind of old news, so I'm just sticking it in at the end. But congratulations to LeBron for becoming the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this podcast episode, I know it was short. I apologize. Like, subscribe, leave a comment on what you thought the best part was. And I'll see you guys when I have another podcast episode.